What you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Carolina Barbecue Festival's 5th anniversary will be the Queen City's biggest barbecue party yet. 30 pitmasters, 3 big events, and it all gets started with the barbecue brunch, brisket and biscuits. Expert barbecue pitmasters team up with Charlotte's top chefs to create a curated food event in partnership with Savor Charlotte. Brisket and Biscuits, March 28th at Town Brewing in Charlotte. Reserve your tickets right now at carolinabbqfest.org. To discover other features in Savor Charlotte's March culinary adventure, visit the Eat and Drink menu at charlottesgotalot.com. Our guest today is featured at not one, but 2 events with this year's Carolina Barbecue Festival. He's the executive pitmaster of Midwood Smokehouse, where he's been from the start of the original location nearly 15 years ago to 6 Midwood Smokehouse restaurants across the Carolinas. And we're so excited to welcome Matt Berry back to the podcast. Matt, thanks for joining the Low and Slow Barbecue Show.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be back.
Yeah, we had you back in 2023, and I'm sure a few things have changed since then. First, I gave you kind of the public relations promo there, Matt. If you sat down at, say, somebody else's barbecue table, how would you introduce yourself?
Probably Matt Berry, a barbecue enthusiast. It's weird when you tell people that you're a pitmaster for a living. If you're with other pitmasters, it's kind of more casual conversation about the trade, but people find it very interesting when they're not from that industry and they have a lot of questions, always want to get a little, hey, I've been doing this and my brisket still comes out tight. What should I do? You get a lot of like home cooked questions.
Gotcha. So, and we're so excited to have you back. But imagine you're at that barbecue table. What imagines or typifies a plate of food that really illustrates what barbecue is to you? What is your barbecue order of a perfect barbecue meal?
Oh man, that's like a dream come true. Definitely chopped pork. I want some pork on there. I want some coleslaw to go with it. A little slider bun. I don't try to eat as much bread or carbs as I used to when I was younger, but I still like the bite of a pork sandwich and the slaw and the bun together still excites me. I got to try ribs. Got to order ribs. Those 2 are non-negotiable. And then I think everybody that's a pitmaster, they want to try the brisket. They want to see how it stacks up to their brisket. They want to see, brisket's a good measuring stick for, the overall quality of the whole plate you got probably, right? Chances are if the brisket's good on this platter, everything else is going to be really good, right?
You mentioned slaw, sides. What about sides?
Oh, coleslaw is definitely a go-to for me. I always try mac and cheese. Once again, it's more of a measuring stick thing. Mm-hmm. I can't be eating mac and cheese all the time. But I do like a good mac and cheese and collard greens. Got to have collard greens.
Another good barometer.
And I do feel like the collard green thing is probably more regional to where we are. I feel like you go to some barbecue restaurants in other parts of the country, collard greens may not be a staple like it is here.
Gotcha. So let's talk about brisket and biscuits. And I'm not sure how often you see barbecue on the lunch menu or the brunch menu. And we'll talk about brunch, but I want to lead with the most important news, Matt. I looked at the website for Carolina Barbecue Festival. I saw Bojangles right there next to your smiling face. Tell us, what have you got cooking with Bojangles for barbecue brunch?
So I got with the development team or the culinary team at Bojangles a couple of weeks ago. And I mean, Bojangles is known for biscuits. It's a Carolina institution, right?
Yeah.
And biscuits and briskets. We're like, why about some brisket gravy? So we whipped up some sausage gravy, but we used tallow instead of the sausage. And we used some chopped brisket, but we made basically briskets and biscuits. It's a brisket gravy over top of the biscuit, a little slice of brisket on top. It's delicious. I mean, it's like, we were all, if the brisket was good and the biscuit is good, why wouldn't they be good together, right?
Absolutely. And it fits the name, brisket and biscuits. It's March 28th at Town Brewing Company. Could you see brisket and biscuits appearing somewhere on the Midwood Smokehouse menu? I know y'all don't open till a little bit later.
I'll be honest. Funny fact, we do have a Midwood Smokehouse at the Charlotte Airport now, Charlotte Douglas.
Yeah.
And they have a breakfast menu, and we do have biscuits and brisket. Now, it's not the same thing. It's not a brisket gravy. It's more of it's a sausage gravy.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where the inspiration came from. Is we had already done some brunch type stuff for the airport because they're opened all day, every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where I was like looking back at my notes from when we did that because I was thinking of ideas for a Midwood brunch. We actually do a couple things at the restaurant too on Saturdays and Sundays at lunchtime. I don't know if you're familiar, but we do a Texas hash with diced sausage, diced brisket, potatoes, onions, eggs on top, and we do what we call burn ends and grits, which is like a red eye coffee sauce with burn ends on a bowl of grits.
Oh my goodness!
Like we're not. I'm not a stranger to brunch and barbecue, but definitely like this is taking it to another level.
No doubt. You've talked about brunch and kind of what's on your menu. I'm not sure how many brunches you get to enjoy in the Berry household, but what would you like to see in an ideal brunch?
Well, I don't eat a lot of breakfast, and I love breakfast food. Coffee is typically what I consume in the mornings. So for me, I would want a spread where there's a little bit of everything. I like an eggs Benedict or a crab cake Benedict, something of that nature. But I want biscuits, I want grits, I want all the stuff that I normally don't get to eat. Because for me, brunch is kind of like a special occasion meal. And this is not stuff that I eat on a typical everyday basis. Also, I feel like you got to have some mimosas at brunch, right?
Yeah. There are a lot of carbohydrates in all those suggestions. Brisket, grits.
That's why
You gotta have some protein. No fruit, Matt. Come on.
Man, I have 2 young kids, man. There's so much fruit in my fridge right now. I eat fruit every day. I want the good stuff.
Yeah, get outside the norm. So tell us how you got involved with the brunch this year.
Well, so I've been focusing a lot on Midwood since we last talked, 2023, with just all the locations and stuff. But I've known Lou from Sweet Lou's Barbecue for a while now, and we kind of linked up last summer. I forget where we were, but we were talking about some of the events with the Carolina Barbecue Festival, and I've really not been involved in it. And it's something that he started talking to me about. It's like that sounds like a lot of fun. We did an event last fall at Max for Max's 30th anniversary, and like him and Darren and some other guys were out there. I tell you what, we had a great time. And so he kind of said, so we got some other events coming up with the Carolina Barbecue Festival with Midwood, or would you be interested? And I was like, man, I had a great time. I'd love to do some more events. So that's kind of how the whole thing started.
Yeah, so you guys were at the pig picking, and it was at Max Speed Shop. I know they've got through celebrating a big event, and now so you've gotten something else cooking up. First is brisket and biscuits, again, March 28th, but then a couple weeks after that, the big Friday night Queen City Smoke, I guess, kickoff, as they're calling it there, for the Charlotte Barbecue Festival on the 17th. Mac, how did this idea get to cooking up?
It's kind of the same way. It's like, hey, we got this other event right after the Pitmaster, the briskets and biscuits event. You interested? Like, yeah, man. I mean, like the more to get out there, that's kind of it's a change of pace. Get you out of the restaurant and get you out of the smoker. Get out and see some people. Maybe meet some new people. See some old friends. But these are events that are like big community. And I've always said barbecue is all about community, right? And that what's more than going out and bringing a bunch of pitmasters together and inviting the community out to come and try some food. And I think it shows the appreciation that the city of Charlotte now has for the barbecue scene that we have. I think some events like this, maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago when we got started, may not have drawn the same crowd or the same kind of attention that it does now.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about, the scene of barbecue around Charlotte once you guys got started. How do you feel like it's changed since then over, 15 years or so?
I would say that there's definitely more options, more modern options. You still got your mom and pop places that are around the outskirts of town, but in Charlotte itself, you've seen some of the older places kind of close or fade out, and you see a more modern approach to barbecue. When I say modern, I mean the buildings, the offerings, not necessarily I think that the cooking methods and traditions hold the same.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, you've got more elegant spaces, bigger spaces. You're not just going to a place with white and red checkered tablecloths and sweet tea is the only thing they have to drink. You can go and get a beer, you can get a drink. You can bring a big group and rent out event space and stuff like that. And I think people come here now. I actually ran into a group of guys back in December. They were in town for a football game, but it's a group of guys from Texas, and they go on a trip once a year. And they go to a football game. They go to different places. They always go eat at all the barbecue restaurants. And that's kind of where they decide where game they're going to go to. And they came to Charlotte to check out the barbecue. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. And you mentioned kind of the new wave or the new generation, and kind of the disappearance of sort of the old generation. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a necessary thing. I don't know that it's good or bad, but times change and things happen, and people's lives outside of their barbecue world, maybe that, like Bill Spoon's closing was a very emotional moment for me, because that's my first memory of real barbecue, is being like 5, 6, 7 and going to Bill Spoon's on South Boulevard with my dad. When that closed, it kind of hit me a little bit. I was like, man, I can never go there again. And I'm not going to say that I went there a lot recently, but still, it had some nostalgia to it. But you don't know what people's situations are, whether it's too much of a burden to keep running. A restaurant's a lot of work. I think, you talk to enough people, that it's a lot of work. And you never know what other kind of stressors people have outside of the area. Sometimes it's just time to move on. And some places do that. And then it creates an opportunity for someone new to come in and show what they've got.
Yeah, so it's evolution. That's how the business world and the barbecue world works. And we'll talk a little bit more of the business side of that at Midwood Smokehouse. Before we get there, a quick reminder, we've been talking about a couple of events in the Carolina Barbecue Festival. Matt Berry, he's one of more than 25 pitmasters from North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee. A lot of folks coming. First is the BBQ Brunch, March 28th, Town Brewing in Charlotte. Tickets, they're going fast. Get them soon. Then it's the kickoff, April 17th. It's the Queen City Barbecue with Midwood, Improper Pig, Max Speed Shop, Union Barbecue. We brought Barbecue King from Lincoln to town as well for the big kickoff, April 17th. Then the big party is Saturday, April 18th. It's a day filled with barbecue and music and vendors and all that good stuff. Tickets now, CarolinaBBQFest.org. Use promo code Low and Slow to get your discount. Then look for us Friday at the kickoff with Matt Berry from Midwood Smokehouse. Matt, after you have the big barbecue party on Friday, the kickoff, you're working. Do you go to the party on Saturday and enjoy? And if so, what do you look forward to?
It's funny you just mentioned that, because I hadn't really given that much thought. But I want to go. So I've got to make sure I can get my restaurants covered on Saturday afterwards. I just kind of figured I was going to go to work as business as normal on the weekend. But I'm gonna have to call in sick so I can.
Wait a minute, call in sick? Yeah, and hey, promo code Low and Slow. You get a discount on the tickets if you decide to get there and go. Yeah, talk about the Smokehouse at Midwood there. If people don't know what Midwood Smokehouse is, maybe take just a moment and introduce folks to it.
So Midwood Smokehouse it started in 2011 in Central Avenue in the Plaza Midwood neighborhood. And it was just a way, at the time, there was not really Texas barbecue in the Charlotte area. It was very, very low impact, very low. It wasn't much going on. Mm-hmm. And so we saw an opportunity. We've got our smokers custom built for us in Mesquite, Texas, by J&R Manufacturing. It's an Euler all-wood burning smoker. Mm-hmm. Very popular down in Texas. We brought one up here. And we do everything from scratch. We try to pay homage to the authentic ways it used to be. It's all wood burning. There's no gas. And try to take the best, like a little melting pot of barbecue. It's not a traditional Carolina smokehouse where they've got only whole hog or only pork and like cornbread and slaw. We've got brisket, which is obviously a big deal in the barbecue world. Brisket, ribs, jalapeno cheddar sausage. We got burn-ins from the Kansas City. We've got a little bit of everything. We try to take the best from all the barbecue worlds and kind of bring it together. But we try to do it right. We don't take so much that we're like, it's some places you go and the menu's so big, you're like, how can I possibly execute this?
Right.
Like, we try to keep the core tight so that we can make sure we keep it to the standard that we've come to expect over the years. All of our sides are made from scratch. All of our rubs are made in-house. All of our sauces are made in-house. All of our salad dressings, which you would think, salad's not that barbecue restaurant, but still, like, we take pride in the fact that everything we take care of in-house.
You mentioned the location at the airport, and there's others across the Carolinas. How much did the menus vary between those locations outside the round-the-clock need at the airport?
They're not too much. In Columbia, South Carolina, we've got a couple different items down there. They love their mustard sauce, so we have some more mustard sauce items, and they do the hash and rice, familiar with from the upstate South Carolina area. We do that down there, which we don't do up here. But for the most part, they're all very similar.
Now, I don't want the PC answer here. You've got 6 locations you're traveling between. How often do you visit each one, and do you have a favorite?
Oh man, if I said I had a favorite, I don't know how much trouble I would get in.
Well, no, they're not listening. Don't worry about that.
I know. I would say Central remains my favorite because it's where it all started. It's where my wife, as we talked before the podcast, my wife's a school teacher, but school teachers don't make enough money. That's my political shout out for the call. That's it. They don't make enough money. So she got a job waiting tables there in the summer, and that's how we met. So Central will always hold a piece of my heart. But each store is a little bit different, and I like the different characters that each one has. There's stores I like the expo window better. There's stores I like the prep setup better. Like each store's got something that I enjoy, and the people in all of them, they've all got good teams. When you've got 6 locations and they're spread out so far from Columbia to Raleigh, and that's like a 6-hour difference. You're only as good as your team, and I got great teams at all the stores, so that makes kind of bouncing around easier, walking in and knowing. I always tell the guys though, if you see me a lot, that's probably a sign that there's something we need to work on. If you don't see me very much, then you guys are doing a great job. I kind of do float to the I hate to say fire in the barbecue world, but I float to the fire.
Well, that makes sense. You don't want to extinguish it all the way, but just don't let it get out of control. How much are you visiting each one of the locations?
Right now, I'm really locked into the Ballantyne location. I've actually been there for 2 weeks straight. But typically, I try to make it at least once every 2 weeks. Honestly, with Raleigh and Columbia and the kids' schedules and stuff, I get there once a month.
When you're going between these locations, how often do you stop for barbecue? Or
in between?
Yeah.
I went to Lexington barbecue at Christmas time. I was just driving back from Raleigh, and I was ahead of schedule, and I was like, man, I'm just going to pull in. And I went and I got a sliced pork sandwich, and it was delicious.
Yeah. So what is your popular menu item at Midwood? Is there anything that you feel like is a notch above, not for Matt, but between what the diners say?
Well, we sell a lot of, obviously we sell a lot of brisket. We sell 25% of everything we purchase in our kitchens is brisket. Between the brisket and the burn-ins, the burn-ins are very popular, but I think it's some of the side stuff we do that seems like we do the cheesesteak with the leftover brisket. We shave it on a slicer and we do a cheesesteak, and people love that. And it's like, it's repurposing, but it's great. We do the same thing with the pork and the birria tacos. We make a pork stock and we make birria tacos with our chopped pork. And dude, we sell so many birria tacos. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds really good. So, what does the future hold for Midwood Smokehouse? I know you guys have added locations a little bit along the way, but can you share anything about what you see in the crystal ball?
Right now, we're just trying to, build a bench, solidify things. The barbecue world's been tough lately. Brisket prices have been the high is the understatement. So like we're working on solidifying our margins and getting ourselves stable, and then we're building a bench so that down the road here, 2027, we can look to expand more. But really, we just want to keep it pure. We want to keep it authentic, and so that's really the focus right now, is making sure that people who have the same mindset, the same views that I do, that Frank does as a team, that those are the people we have in 4 walls. When you have these 6 locations, and the consistency is the toughest thing. You got smokers are all set up different. Some of them are half outside. Some of them are completely inside. They all cook a little bit different. That it's really having good people in place and having that trust there that consistently you're putting out a good product, and that consistently. Like the worst thing for me that I hate hearing is someone will tell me, I had the pork at Birkdale Village last week and it's different than this. And it's like, oh no. Want it to be consistent across the board. I want people to be able to come in and get the same food and the same experience from one location, and say they're working in Columbia or working in Raleigh and they come to eat trout all the time. They can go there and get the same food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you hear that a lot. Consistency is critical across the locations there. Speaking of consistency, I feel like it's got to be part of the reason why you guys get elected as the best in Charlotte. The Charlotte Observer awarded you that last year, voted based on reader votes. I think there's other listicles, we call them out there, the best barbecue restaurants in 50 cities, 9 must-visit restaurants. That's from Chowhound, according to a chef. Matt, how do these recognitions play into either the business that you see at the door or the strategy that you employ, operating?
Well, I mean, these are great. These are testaments to the team and testaments to the consistency. You don't consistently see these awards year in, year out, and these acknowledgments without performing in the kitchen and performing in the smokehouse. Certainly when there are events in town, we get a lot of people from out of town because what they do is they'll Google or they'll search barbecue. They're in the Carolinas. They're here, whether it's a sporting event or a concert or a convention, whatever they're here for. We get a lot of people that come in for that, and they tell us they're coming in for that. We see that in Raleigh and Columbia too, for that matter, not just Charlotte. So that's big. So definitely like the barbecue tourism business, if you will. And as far as how we approach it, we want to keep that standard. We want people, if they think they're coming in to get the best barbecue in Charlotte, we have to make sure that every plate is the best barbecue in Charlotte. And that's a challenge. It can't be 9 out of 10 plates are the best barbecue in Charlotte. It's got to be every plate.
And I know that social media kind of plays a similar role as the listicle recognition. It's certainly evolved over the years that you guys have been in business. Do you feel like you're putting more attention on that going forward, or is that you try to let it be organic for you?
Well, I think if you don't pay attention to it, you're going to fall behind. And I kind of had that mindset a few years back because I don't really have much of a social media presence. I'm kind of a do it, go to work, come home, take care of the fam, do the thing. And it's just not something that to me, it's kind of a distraction and personal life stuff, right? Like I don't have those kind of distractions. But in the business world and in the restaurant world in 2026, if you don't embrace it, you will fall behind because people are very quick to look at their phones or look at something and see pictures and say, hey, that looks good. I want to go eat that. And, I'd be naive to say that doesn't influence people's decisions where they're going to go eat or what they eat. So we have kind of taken an approach. We've got a great marketing team, PR team that we have. And, I just last Friday, Julia came out and we'll just take some footage of me working or us working at the smoker, pulling ribs out, rubbing down briskets, trimming briskets. We're doing smoked corned beef for St. Patrick's Day. We do it every year. We've been doing it for 15 years. It's just kind of one of my things. And so we don't have any video footage of it. And she's like, well, are we going to get some marketing stuff this year? And I'm like, no. Every year they know we're going to do it. But it's like, hey, maybe we do need to get some marketing stuff for it. So I cooked one off Friday at Valentine. She came and we got some pictures and got some video footage of slicing into it and stuff. And, you've got to do that stuff. You've got to show people out there what you're capable of, what you do. And I mean, we're not the only restaurant that does it. Everybody does it now. You kind of have to.
You have to. You don't want to get left behind. It's competitive advantage. All right. So, Matt, we've talked here for a good while about what I want to talk about, barbecue and barbecue and brunch in the Carolinas and Charlotte. As we wrap it up here, take a moment. What's important to Matt Berry? What would you want to talk about?
What's important to Matt Berry? Like in barbecue or just in general?
In general.
Man, I got a 6 and an 8-year-old, and barbecue has provided more for me than I ever. When I started doing barbecue 20 some odd years ago, I didn't really think that if you want to date back even farther than that, before I was working in restaurants, barbecue restaurants, and I was just doing barbecue on the side, I would have never thought that barbecue would have taken me this far. Barbecue provides for my family. So there's going to be kind of that thing like years from now when I'm long and gone, there still better be some appreciation for barbecue in this family because it provided a lot for us. But really, I want to put out good food for good people. I always consider barbecue like blue collar, hardworking food for hardworking folks. And I get satisfaction out of that. I don't ever want to get what would be the word here? I don't ever want to get far away from the roots of where it started. I want to stay humble. I want to stay productive. And most of all, I want to stay on top.
And that, my friends, is the final word from Matt Berry from Midwood Smokehouse, locations across the Carolinas. Visit one today for great food, a great experience. Find a location near you at midwoodsmokehouse.com. Matt, thank you so much for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
You've been listening to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show, sponsored by the Carolina Barbecue Festival, April 17th and 18th in Charlotte's Victoria Yards. Reserve your tickets for the festival, carolinabbqfest.org. Be sure and use promo code Low and Slow for that discount. To our audience, thank you for listening to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show. If you like what you hear, share our podcast with your food-loving friends, and please give us a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast stream. For more interviews with pitmasters and chefs from the Carolina Barbecue Festival and the Barbecue Brunch, visit lowslowbbqshow.com. That's our website. You'll find our blog. We've got a recipe from Matt Berry for his cola sauce that goes on the burn-in, shared back in 2023 on his last appearance here. We've also got festival details, event dates, all the stuff you want to know about Carolina barbecue. You can also sign up for our weekly newsletter where we deliver the latest Carolina barbecue news, fundraisers, food truck schedules, events, all that in your email inbox on Tuesdays. You find it at lowslowbbqshow.com. The Low and Slow Barbecue Show is proud to be part of the Mesh.tv network of podcasts. Visit the Mesh.tv for other great podcasts produced by our producer today, Andrew Moose. We couldn't do our weekly podcast without him. For the Low and Slow Barbecue Show, I'm Chigger Willard, reminding you that for the best barbecue and the best barbecue podcast, make it low and slow.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.